The food zone has too many new items. Nora trims out what she doesn't need. Even then, it's barely enough. The more she sorts, the more wired she gets. She pulls out a bowl of washed cherries and snacks while she works. The energy zone doesn't grow much. 20 tons of fuel total. But because it's stored inside the tanker, it eats up more space than expected. Nora doesn't want to waste a corner. The vault's shape can be reconfigured at will. She compresses the zone into a cylinder, like an image editing app, fitting tight around the tanker. Perfect. Last night, she'd grabbed a truck of pharmaceuticals. There hadn't been time to inspect it. Now she has time. Inside, she finds rubbing alcohol, 14% disinfectant bleach, face masks, gauze, hazmat suits, plus a wide range of meds. She doesn't feel like sorting all of it now. She stacks the meds to one side and sets it aside for later. Then the drones. The drones are brand new. No batteries installed. Low damage rate? She figures they belong with transportation. She expands that zone and stacks them into a column. After the cleanup, the vault looks much neater. 30 or 40 cubic meters of free space remain. Nora is satisfied. She's still figuring out how to compress further when a knock hits the front door. For the past 2 days, only Hazel has come knocking. Nora stands and scans the room. Nothing strange visible. She walks to the door and checks the peephole. It isn't Hazel, it's Knox. Why him? Nora blinks. She speaks. Who is it? Knox's voice comes through. Nora, it's me. We bought a new stove yesterday. Hazel was worried you wouldn't know how to install it. Asked me to check if you needed help. Nora's eyes light up. She glances around the apartment. Yes, I really do. Hold on, let me get changed. Nora bolts to the kitchen, confirms nothing odd is in sight, and circles back to open the door. Knox glances at the 3-layer security setup behind her. Nora gives a small smile. I live alone, have to be careful. Right, safety matters. Knox doesn't dwell. Where's the stove? Nora hands him a pair of slippers. In the kitchen. These are new. No one's worn them. Clean. Knox looks down. The size is on the small side. He doesn't comment. He swaps shoes and follows her into the kitchen. The new propane stove is still on top of the cabinet. Unopened. The 2-bedroom unit has a generous kitchen, but Knox is tall enough to make it look small. Nora finds scissors and hands them over. Sorry to put you out. It's fine. Knox has done this once before. He opens the box smoothly and starts assembling. Nora circles to the doorway and watches. A thought hits her. Knox, actually, there's something I want to run by you and Hazel. Knox keeps his hands moving. He doesn't look up. What is it? Nora speaks. A coworker reached out yesterday. Things are getting messy. The company shut down. The boss is hoarding supplies. He says they have some rice. They don't want to hand it over to the boss. Asked if I want to buy. Price is steep, though. This is the cover Nora's just spun off the back of running into Scarborough's gang. Their existence proves the black market is a real thing, and it gives her a believable channel for slipping food to the Hayes siblings. If Knox hadn't shown up to help, she wouldn't have thought of it. Truth is, both siblings have solid character. Their combat capability is high. Nora wants to build the relationship, and they live 2 doors down. If they don't have food, Nora isn't going to sleep well at night. Knox's hands pause. He looks up. You're asking if I want in, right? Nora puts on a worried look. Right. I want to stockpile some rice. My boss is plugged in. If he's hoarding, there's a reason. My coworker says they have about 30 bags, 20 pounds each, way more than I can take alone. She holds his gaze, steady. Knox. What if our 2 households split it? Knox is calm. What's their price? Nora has no read on whether he's interested. 20 pounds, vacuum sealed. Normally 100 tetras a bag. City prices are insane right now. Coworker discount. She holds up 4 fingers. Knox keeps his eyes lowered. 30 bags, 1,200 tetras. Nora nods. That's the price. But I'm worried I can't finish it. I'll take 10. That's the figure she'd worked out. Roughly 400 pounds total. Enough to keep the Hayes household fed for a long stretch. By the time they finish that supply, she'll be ready to relocate. She won't have to worry about neighbors getting greedy. If their relationship still holds at that point, she'll quietly leave more food behind before she goes. Call it goodwill banked. After a beat, Knox speaks. Here's the deal. If your coworker's offer is real, I'll take a ton, 50 bags. But I don't have that much cash on me. I'll have to settle in gold. That much? Nora's eyes snap open. Part of it is delight that he's buying enough to actually feed them. The other part is even better. She'd been bracing to take wads of soon worthless paper. Gold is so much better. Gold still circulates. Gold appreciates. Nora doesn't agree on the spot. She says she has to confirm with the coworker first. Knox suddenly asks, "Need a deposit?" Deposit? Nora hadn't thought of that. She works through it. I guess so. If you're not worried, I'll scam you. You can leave one with me. Knox says fine. He keeps assembling the stove. Once the stove is done, Knox heads back to his unit and returns with a small box. He opens it for her. Bank-purchased gold. Certificate still in there. About 50 grams. Gold doesn't sell at market price normally. You can negotiate with them. Nora had checked 2 days ago. A 1-gram bar runs about 480 tetras. By market rate, 50 grams is over 4,000 tetras. That's deep trust territory. Nora arches a brow at him. She teases. Knox, you hand me this much? Aren't you worried I'll grab the cash and run? Knox closes the box and passes it to her. If you're a scammer, I can absorb the loss. If you're not, I come out ahead. Worth the risk. Nora laughs and takes the box. I'm not running over 20,000 tetras, and there's nowhere to run anyway. Knox pauses. Then watch yourself out there. And the stove just got installed. Be careful using it. Nora is amused. I will, Knox. Don't worry. Knox nods and leaves. Afterward, Nora steps out for a walk. She heads to the warehouse she'd rented earlier and dumps 60 bags of rice inside. Then she circles back to the complex and knocks on the unit next door. Hazel opens. She's holding a deck of poker cards. Her face brightens. Nora, coming over to play? Nora smiles. Looking for you, yeah. And your brother. Knox must hear the conversation. He steps out of his room and looks over. Nora speaks. Knox. My coworker agreed. They've already moved the rice to a warehouse. We need to pick it up. But it has to be cleared out before noon. Knox nods. Got it. Anything else owed? Nora answers. No prices outside are wild right now. They prefer gold. Said the rate's only going up. Hazel listens. Lost. When they explain it, she stares. Brother, we're buying that much rice? What if it spoils? Knox says, don't worry. I'm not making you eat it all. If it gets useless, I'll haul it to the shooting range. Hazel still thinks her brother is overreacting. But her best quality is doing what she's told. Fine. But that much rice, we definitely won't finish it. What's the plan? The three of them work hard to move 60 bags home. They drape plastic sheeting over the trike to keep things dry on the way. Most of the residents are either holed up or hunting their own supplies. No one pays them much attention. By the final trip, the sky has gone black with clouds. Below the building, Hazel stares up. It was clear this morning. How did the weather flip this fast? These clouds look like the end of the world in a movie. Knox's face hardens. He frowns. Get the rice into the corridor first. Move. His words have barely left his mouth before the first drops hit the ground. The three of them hustle the last 5 bags into the corridor. Knox leads the final batch up to the door of Unit 1802. By then, the rain is coming down hard. The sky has split open. Water pours down in sheets. Knox doesn't care about getting drenched. He shuts every corridor window. Soaked through, he turns to Nora. Get inside. Lock everything. This rain is wrong. Got it. You two get in too. Nora nods, pulls out her keys, and lets herself in. She'd shut the windows before going out, so no rain has gotten in. She seals all 3 door layers and walks to the living room window. Outside, the downpour is biblical. Nora has never seen rain like this. The whole world looks drowned. Visibility is just a wall of white. A peal of thunder cracks above her. She jumps. Her eyes go wide. This is genuinely terrifying. The rain is too much. She'd read the novel. She knew it would rain like this in the collapse, but reading it and watching it are not the same. On the page, she'd just been struck by the scale of the scene. Standing here, she feels small in front of nature. Can she actually survive this? Nora pulls in a deep breath. Lets it out slow. Negative spirals don't help. She needs to steady the mind. She steps back from the window. In the kitchen, she pulls out braised beef, sautéed carrots, spicy squid, and vegetables. She heats them up. 2 days of non-stop work, a massive haul. She figures she's earned a real meal. She fills her plate and pours herself a glass of bubble tea. After eating, she rests for half an hour, then showers. She grabs a cluster of grapes and starts reading Saving My Whole Bloodline with My Many Kids in the Collapse. She'd skimmed it before, tons of details she'd missed. Since she can't go anywhere, she starts over from the beginning. She doesn't get far before she falls asleep. When she wakes, it's the next day. She'd slept too long. Her head aches. She walks to the window and looks out. The buildings across the way are submerged. Based on the elevation, the second and third floors of nearby buildings are underwater. Nora considers. She walks into the east-facing bedroom and dumps the bed, dresser, and other furniture into the vault. She can't go out for the next few days. She can't just eat and sleep either. Nora decides to convert the room into a workout space. Conditioning and weapons training go on the schedule. First, she rolls out soundproof flooring. Then she pulls out an archery target and assembles it per the instructions. She brings out the recurve bow. The room is large. It still looks empty. Nora adds a hula hoop, a jump rope, and a hand grip strengthener. She'd also bought a pedal-powered generator bike. Plain language, a stationary bike that produces electricity while you pedal. Workout and power generation in one. Pity she can't pull it out yet. Right. Yesterday, she'd gone to bed early. She still hasn't dealt with the fridge restock. Can't forget that. After handling it, Nora eats breakfast. Half an hour of rest. Then training. Nora draws a deep breath. She does 2 minutes of stretching in place. Then she picks up the jump rope. 70 reps per set. 3 sets back to back. By the end, she is drenched. 20-minute break. Hydration. Then on to the next. Nora opens Archery, a Beginner's Guide. She picks up the recurve bow. Checking the photos against her own form, she practices the grip and stance. Whether she's doing it right is anyone's guess. She'd say it's not bad. It's noon before she knows it. She doesn't feel like cooking. She eats more leftovers from the vault. Yesterday was beef. Today she goes for fish soup and some greens. While eating, she steps onto the balcony to check the view. The second floor of the building across the way is almost completely under. It's still raining. Maybe it never stops. Nora shakes her head and goes back to her fish soup. It's good. After the meal and dishes, Nora decides to ventilate. She steps onto the living room balcony and cracks the window. The angle is sheltered. Only a little water gets in. She lays a dry rag by the sill. Should be fine. Then she heads to the front door, opens it, and repeats the process. She cracks the corridor window slightly. A small breeze. Air moving. It feels good. Nora decides to stand there and breathe. Not long after, the door across the way opens from the inside. Nora glances over by reflex. Hazel comes out holding a trash bag. Hazel sees her and looks startled. Nora, what are you doing out here? Nora points at the window. Getting air. Oh. Hazel deflates. What are we supposed to do with the trash? Just chuck it out the window? Nora answers. What else? Pile it inside? Hazel still hates the idea of littering. But she has no choice. 2 more days and the apartment will reek. She'd planned to leave the bag at the door. Seeing Nora here, she abandons that plan. Hazel walks to a different window. Right hand opens it, left hand chucks the bag fast. She slams the window shut. She moves quick. Some rain still hits her. She doesn't say anything. She looks down at her wet clothes. Rain's brutal. She thinks for a beat, mimics Nora, and cracks the window for fresh air. Glad to have company, Nora leans against the sill and chats. How come you're the one doing trash duty? Where's your brother? He went down to scope things out. Hazel's brow knits. Her face shifts into something Nora hasn't seen before. Sad. You don't know yet. Last night a bunch of people from the Villa district fled to our complex. But our building only goes up around 20-something floors. The second floor is already submerged. The third floor is being prepped for evacuation. We're lucky to be high up. The lower floors are jammed. People in the corridors and stairwells. Louder than a market. Total chaos. Hazel sighs. My brother went down to assess. Otherwise, we'd be sitting blind. Nora frowns. How long's he been gone? Hazel's tone goes uncertain. He should be back any minute. Speak of the devil. Knox climbs back up, just as she finishes the sentence. Hazel brightens. Brother, how is it down there? Knox glances at Nora. He shakes his head. His voice is heavy. Not great. The Villa families didn't bring much with them. They'll burn through their food in 2 days. Easy. Hazel pales. What do we do? Can the rescue teams reach us in time? Knox's mouth is a hard line. He chooses his words. Hazel. Forget worrying about them. Worry about us. People with no food do things. Things you don't want to imagine. Hazel's face goes white. What do we do? How is everything this messed up after just a few days? Nobody has an answer. Nora reads the room. She speaks. Knox. Hazel. It's chaos down there. What if we lock the stairwell door? She means the floor's emergency stairwell door. The one that connects the corridor to the staircase, used as a fire escape. The developer installed those doors. Heavy wood. When power's on, you swipe a key card. Electronic lock. Power's out now. The door doesn't auto-lock. Anyone can come and go. Door quality depends on the developer's conscience, but locked is locked. Anyone wanting in has to break it down. That's another layer. Knox turns to assess the door. Yeah, opens both ways. Chain it shut, lock it. I'll grab the lock. One lock isn't enough. I'll add another. Nora pretends to walk inside her unit. In reality, she pulls a chain lock and 3 keys from the vault. When she comes back out, Knox has already chained the door. The setup is simple. Loop the chain through both door handles. Wrap a few times. Lock it. Nora hands him her lock. Knox attaches it. He gives her his key. Much safer this way. Anyone trying to get in will make noise. Lucky you thought of it. Nora smiles. She hands her 2 keys to the siblings. Hazel takes hers like they're heading to war. Nora, tell me, this isn't actually the end of the world, is it? Even if Nora knew, she couldn't say. Could be temporary. Either way, locked is safer. Whatever you do, don't open the door for anyone. Hazel jumps in fast. I'm not that dumb. Anyone tries something, they go through me first. Knox frowns. Don't talk like that, Hazel laughs. Brother, it's just a hypothetical. Knox lets it go. He looks at Nora. Locking the door isn't bulletproof. I know you have 3 layers in your unit. You should be okay. But if anything happens, come to us. Nora smiles. Of course. We're a unit now. Knox cracks the first real smile in days. Talk among yourselves. I'm heading in. Once he's gone, Hazel leans into Nora and lowers her voice. Nora, you're so smart. Lucky for me. Without your help, I wouldn't have gotten so much food. I'd be losing my mind right now. I'll remember this. I'll find a way to repay you. Nora is amused. What, you'd lay down your life for me? Hazel goes mock. Mysterious. You don't get it. Whatever happens, I've got you. Nora frowns. She doesn't understand what Hazel means, but another thought surfaces. Honestly, I could use your help with something. Hazel jumps. What is it? Nora answers. Look, I can't go anywhere right now, so I'm training at home. You're a sports major. I want you to help me design a training plan. Hazel deflates a bit. That's it? Done. I gotcha. Nora smiles. One more thing. Is shooting different from archery? Archery? Hazel looks puzzled. I mean, both are aiming, but archery is muscle. Marksmanship is firepower. Nora is curious. Have you ever shot a bow? Hazel nods. A friend of mine was into it, tried it twice. Nora's eyes spark. Then come to my place. Try it. Hazel is mildly surprised. You have a bow? Nora nods and leads her to the workout room. The setup is sparse. To Hazel, it looks like a play space. She isn't surprised Nora has a home gym. She picks up the bow on the table. This is a recurve, right? Last time I shot a compound. Hazel runs her thumb along the sight. Compounds have pulleys. Less draw weight, more accuracy. Nora answers. The book said this kind is good for beginners. Hazel doesn't know that much about bows. Maybe. What's the draw weight? Nora replies. 24. Hazel stares. That's beginner friendly, all right. You have other bows? Nora nods. Yeah. Another recurve at 32 pounds. One at 50 pounds. And a compound at 70. Hazel goes still. That's a lot. Why do you have that many bows in your house? Nora goes with the easy line. My ex, he was into it. Didn't take them when we split. They came with me when I moved. Hazel nods like that explains it. She picks up an arrow, walks to the other end of the room, and sets her stance. She's clearly handled a bow before, just not a lot. Hazel waves her off. A snap. The arrow hits the target and sticks. Not the bullseye, but way better than anything Nora had managed. Hazel looks pleased. Shooters do bring something to it. I couldn't hit this clean before. Hazel waves her off. It's fine. I'm stronger than you. This draw weight is easy for me, and the room's small. Back when I was on the rifle team, we trained at 50 meters. Nora doesn't hold back the praise. Doesn't matter. You're really good. Hazel laughs. She thinks. Nora, you training because the situation's bad and you want a weapon, right? That is exactly what Nora is thinking. Bows are ranged. Her nail guns are close quarters only. She doesn't know how to modify a firearm. Plus, the nail gun she has only fire when pressed against something. Meaning the muzzle has to be pressed to a person's head before a nail releases. End result. Whoever's on the other end is gone. Even a leg shot, the nail is hard to get out. Bows let her keep distance. Distance keeps her safe. Hazel goes serious for once. Honestly, the two recurves you'll pick up fast. But the damage is limited. The compound is modern engineering. More force. Way more stopping power than a recurve. If real combat is the plan, train on the compound. The mechanics are more involved. Not as simple as a recurve. Nora nods. Got it. Hazel picks up Archery, a beginner's guide from the table and flips it open. Let me dig into this. Maybe I can crack it and teach you. Nora looks pleased. No problem. The afternoon, the two of them train together for hours. Hazel corrects Nora's form and writes out a simple beginner schedule so Nora doesn't injure herself. The next day, Nora trains in the workout room as before, but downstairs is loud. 25 people. 7 families. They'd fled the villa district. Old, young, all of them. None of them brought much food. They're nearly out. The corridor conditions are awful. Even using the bathroom is a struggle. At first, they'd ask to use other residents' bathrooms. After enough requests, people stopped saying yes. There's no plumbing at this point. Everyone is collecting rainwater for basic needs. The water keeps rising. The bathrooms on the lower floors are leaking sewage. No one wants to go near them. No place to relieve themselves. No place to wash. They're hungry. Drinking the rain gives them diarrhea. The corridor air is poison. Tension builds. Then a man in his 50s, surnamed Tate, steps up. He proposes a meeting. The whole community uniting. Pulling through together. The meeting is set on the 14th floor. Families from the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th floors are invited. Before the meeting, Walter Tate has someone find a broom. He sends his daughter-in-law to sweep the 14th floor stairwell clean. Tidy it up, make it presentable. Most people don't really care about the meeting. They don't believe getting everyone in one place will actually solve anything. But more people means more bodies. Maybe in the chaos they can grab something useful. So each family sends a representative. Walter Tate stands at the highest point on the landing. He introduces himself. Hello? I won't go on at length about the situation. My name is Walter Tate. I'm the community liaison for this complex. Everyone's struggling. We need to come together. Someone calls out. Come together how? Walter Tate answers. First, we form an organization. I propose we call it the Self-Rescue Committee. No one objects. Walter Tate is satisfied. His round face fills with energy. If no one objects, we'll establish the Self-Rescue Committee. The committee's goal is unity through self-rescue. A gray-haired woman cuts in, impatient, big words. Any actual plan? Walter Tate replies. Of course. The most pressing issue is food. I propose 2 steps. Step 1, we centralize food management. Elderly and children get priority. That lands hard. Excitement on some faces. Disbelief on others. Quiet glee on a few. And under several breaths, sharp curses. A man in his early 20s speaks up. Sour. What if a family has no elderly or kids? We just hand food over for free? Walter Tate shakes his head. Why frame it as a giveaway? Young man, don't we protect the elderly and the children in hard times? The young man cuts back. Don't care. Not happening. A man past 60 bristles. What kind of attitude is that? Times like these, you don't help the old? Cold-blooded? The young man scoffs. The rest of the room joins in. The lower floor families look livid. They live nearby. They've already given out food. Now they're being told to hand more over? The floor 2 representative mutters, this sounds like a stick-up. Should we pull out? They just want our food. The room is heating up. Walter Tate raises a hand for quiet. No one listens. He grabs an empty water bottle and slams it against the railing. The crack of plastic gets attention. Once it's quiet, he speaks fast. Hear me out. That was just step 1. There's a step 2. Walter Tate continues. Step 2. The reason we centralize food is so we can actively appeal to other residents. Ask them to contribute. Pull on their heartstrings. Heads snap up. This is the real reason they came. Has no one tried begging food off the upper floor units? They've tried plenty. Lots of people have asked. But the rain isn't stopping. Roads are dead. Rescue isn't coming anytime soon. In that climate, who's going to part with food? The young man who'd objected to centralizing food steps forward again. Mr. Tate, easy for you to say. Why would anyone hand food over? What if they refuse? Walter Tate is confident. That's the point of the meeting. We form an action team. Pick the most persuasive talkers. Send them up. They explain the situation. They appeal. If we work together, we get through this. The young man's smile is bitter. Mr. Tate, what's the point of asking now? Everyone heard about the solar superstorm. Roads are dead. Even planes can't fly. The country has no way to airlift help. Rescue isn't coming soon. Per person grocery limit was 2 bags of rice. Who has stockpiles? Your plan doesn't work. Walter Tate frowns. Why doesn't it work? There are good people here. The young man scoffs. He leans back against the wall, arms folded. He says nothing more. Other people are running their own calculations. No one's seen a solar superstorm cause damage like this. No one knows when the rain will stop. Who's going to volunteer their food? Talk is talk. It's just hot air. So, the floor 2 representative speaks up. Actually, food isn't the only problem. We need shelter. The room turns to him. His confidence rises with the attention. The unit next to mine has been empty year-round. There have to be more empty units in this building. High-rises come fully furnished. We can find every empty unit. Break the doors and move in. Beats sleeping in the corridor. Someone hesitates. Isn't that, bad? The floor 2 representative looks contemptuous. Bad how? The law isn't going to charge a whole community. This is a special situation. After the rain stops, we compensate. You all live in the Villa District. You can't pull out a few thousand or tens of thousands of tetras when the time comes. Compared to Walter Tate's pitch, this one lands. Even the cynical young man stands up. I'm in. Think about it. After the solar superstorm and this rain, plenty of people are stranded. They can't get home. But there's food in their fridges, right? We can't just sit here starving while their food rots in their refrigerators, right? This time, more people are moved. Breaking down doors is wrong. But they're starving. Who has time to worry about right and wrong anymore? Everyone's selfish. The other households are selfish for refusing to help. So why can't they be selfish too? Why can't they break the doors down? I'll back the plan to break into the empty units. Once we find food, we pool it together and prioritize the elderly and the children. Why should the elderly and children get priority? People who do the work should get more. Distribute by labor. I'm in. Break the doors. Walter Tate hesitates, but 7 representatives have already raised their hands. If he objects now, he loses authority over them. And he still wants the chair of the self-rescue committee. Walter clears his throat. Fine. We'll settle the housing issue first. All in favor of breaking into the empty units, raise your hand. 8 votes, and we move today. Hands go up. Almost every hand in the room. And somewhere else, another scheme stirs in the shadows. The committee meeting continues. The plan to break into empty units has passed. Now they need to settle manpower and tools. Manpower is easy. Every household sends 1 adult man. But tools are trickier. Because, sure, a mob breaking down doors is one thing. The law doesn't punish a crowd. But when things get sorted out later, who's going to take the fall for supplying the crowbar? Nobody wants to be the lead bird. The young man speaking sees everyone shrink back. His voice sharpens. You were all real eager a minute ago. What happened? All these people and nobody stepping up? A Villa District representative purses his lips. We bolted from our homes in a panic. We don't have tools. But surely some of you do. I saw the guy on floor 3 named Travis hauling mattresses out earlier. The household representative jumps in fast. No, we don't keep maintenance gear at home. Who packs a screwdriver when they're fleeing a flood? The young man eyes the crowd. I know what you're thinking. You don't want to be liable. But weren't you just nodding along when Mr. Tate said we need unity? Walter, hearing his name, straightens up. That's right. Everyone needs to stick together. Mockery flickers in the young man's eyes. He scans the room. If we're sticking together, then it's not just for tonight. Even after order is restored, we stay together. And when that day comes, if anyone names the ones who supplied the tools, who did the heavy lifting, that person is the enemy of everyone in this room. He finishes speaking. People flinch. Walter looks at this young man, maybe 22, 23, and suddenly feels his leadership slipping. He frowns. Listen, friend, speak your piece. But don't threaten people. The Self-Rescue Committee is here for mutual aid. We're not a street gang. The young man ignores him. Unity means shared risk. I can't speak for the rest of you, but if I find out someone broke this pact, once I'm out of prison, I'll be paying their family a visit. The room goes dead silent. After a long pause, a representative speaks. Fine, I agree. We stand together. Nobody sells anyone out. Me too. Seeing no one push back, the floor 2 representative, who proposed the plan, drops his hesitation. Actually, I have a toolbox. Should be enough for what we need. The young man glances at him. Go get it, now. The floor 2 representative heads back to his unit. About 5 minutes later, he returns with a toolbox and opens it in front of the group. The contents spread out. Quality gear. All of it. The young man's eyes light up. He stares at the longest, heaviest hammer in the case. Damn, this thing's a monster. He picks it up. The shaft is solid, the grip wrapped in non-slip rubber. The weight feels right. He doesn't want to set it down. Once he claims the hammer, the others step forward. The bolder ones grab wrenches. The cautious ones take screwdrivers and pliers. The floor 2 representative picks a saw for himself. 11 men, armed. They start working their way through the building, door by door. Fear settles over the tower. Inside Unit 1801, Hazel Hayes is showing off for Nora. Last night, she brought the 32-pound recurve bow home to train. After one evening, she felt good about her progress. She's been waiting all morning to hear Nora praise her. Hazel sets up the archery target, circles it twice, then walks to the far end of the room. She stands there for about half a minute, settling her aim, then looses an arrow. A sharp whip of air. The arrow buries itself dead center. Nora hadn't expected results that fast. She beams. You're incredible. 1 night of training. How are you this good already? Hazel lifts her chin. But she keeps it modest. Be humble. Be humble. I've trained on firearms for years. This is barely a stretch. Nora bites back a laugh and keeps the flattery coming. Still, 1 night. You've got to be a natural. Hazel, teach me. A teacher this good has to produce a good student. Hazel sets the recurve down. Fine. Let me show you the stance first. They sit and talk for a while. Hazel says, drill the stance first. Back when I was learning to shoot, I'd hold position for hours just to find my balance. Nora nods. She lifts the recurve in both hands and locks her eyes on the target. Hazel gets bored, picks up the compound bow on the table, and starts examining it. The compound's draw is brutal. With the target Nora set up, a single arrow would punch through both layers. She's just wondering how to upgrade the target when noise erupts outside. Doors splintering. Glass breaking. The hard ring of a chain striking metal. Nora and Hazel lock eyes. Someone's coming. Hazel asks, should we go look? Nora sets her bow down. We have to. No avoiding it. Let's see what they want. It's only day 2. They can't be losing it this fast. Hazel mutters. Bet they're planning something. Don't tell me they're trying to move into floor 18. Nora doesn't answer. The two of them step out and find Knox already at the door. Through the stairwell window, Nora sees the staircase packed with men. All adults. All armed. In the middle stands a young man, maybe 22. Big hammer in his hand. When his eyes land on Nora and Hazel, they light up. Knox frowns. You can see for yourselves. Both these units are occupied. No empty space. Walter Tate is wedged in the crowd. He shoulders forward to see inside, spots Nora and Hazel together, Knox standing across from them alone. Right, both occupied. Let's keep moving upstairs. The young man cuts in with a laugh. Hold on, Mr. Tate. We need to deal with the lock on the stairwell door first. Walter looks at him. And how do you want to deal with it? The flood's still rising. We may have to move higher later. These 2 units have the stairwell sealed off. Where are we supposed to go then? Knox says, there's still room on the floors above. The young man's eyes flick to him. What if I want to live on floor 18? This is shared space. What gives you the right to lock it down? Yeah, what gives them the right? Someone echoes. That violates fire code. These 2 households are pure selfish. Our floors are underwater and they've sealed the stairwell. So we can't even sleep in the corridor? One man works himself up and slams the wooden door. Open the stairwell now, or we're breaking through. Nora notes every weapon in every hand. They came prepared for serious work. Knox lowers his voice. They're hunting empty units. Smash the doors, move in. Nora isn't surprised. She raises her voice. I thought you were looking for empty units, so why are you fighting over a corridor? The crowd pauses. The young man speaks again. We are looking for empty units. But what if we don't find one? Nora answers. There are dozens of units below. You're telling me you can't find one? The crowd goes quiet. They've already broken into 2 units. One was completely empty. The other was fully furnished. 4 bedrooms, all with beds, a sofa, plenty of space. Could shelter a lot of people in current conditions. That unit also had food. They took it all. Walter tries to play peacemaker. Everyone! The point of the self-rescue committee is mutual aid. We don't need to pick fights with other households. Let's head upstairs. There might be more units with food. People glance around. Most don't want to escalate. It's just a corridor. Not worth the fight. What the young man wants isn't the corridor. He shoots Walter a look. Fine. We find housing first. But if there isn't any, the stairwell stays open. Then he turns to Nora. His eyes hold something heavier than the words. Nora narrows hers. Whatever he's offering, her stare gives back twice as much. He doesn't take it personally. He looks almost amused. Nora's an interesting one, has a venom to her. He smiles, steps closer to the stairwell door, taps the window glass twice with his left knuckle, slow and lazy. Like a man casing a place. Forgot my manners, ladies. The name's Travis Wynn. We'll be seeing more of each other. The name lands in Nora's chest like a cold stone. Then, strangely, relief. Travis Wynn's crowd shuffles upward toward floor 19. The corridor goes quiet again. Knox's face is hard. I didn't expect them to organize this fast. We need to be more careful. Hazel grits her teeth. Nora, why'd you pull me back? That Travis guy was threatening us, wasn't he? Nora's voice drops. Waited. Looks like he's the dangerous one. Hazel doesn't buy it. Dangerous? I'd call him a creep. No shame. Lecherous. Walking gutter trash. Nora laughs at the string of insults and slings an arm around Hazel's shoulders. Calm down. He probably won't move on us today. We focus on training. If he comes for floor 18, we send him home in a box. Right. Straight to the family plot. Hazel finishes venting and turns to Knox. Brother, I'm staying at Nora's tonight. Knox sighs. Nora, sorry to keep dumping my sister on you. Nora laughs. She's teaching me archery. I'm the one dumping work on her. And we know each other well enough now. Just call me Nora, Knox. Knox nods, then looks at Hazel. Be back here for dinner, got it? Hazel rolls her eyes. Brother, I'm not a kid. Stop saying that. Nora picks up the subtext. Every household is rationing now. No more dinner party hosting. She thinks for a moment. Knox, actually, I have a favor to ask. Tomorrow morning, around 4 or 5, I need to head outside. I'll need you to watch the stairwell door. Knox freezes. Outside? For what? Nora answers. I have an inflatable boat. I want to go out and see what's there. Go out? Hazel looks horrified. That's dangerous. Boat or no boat, the current's going to be vicious. Nora, you're not short on food. Why risk it? Nora's face goes serious. I have food now. What about later? I don't think this rain is letting up. While supplies out there haven't been ruined, I want to try my luck. Hazel keeps trying to talk her down. Knox cuts in instead. I'll go with you. Hazel stares at him. Brother. She switches targets. Instead of worrying about Nora, she's baffled at her own brother. You won't help me stop her. Now you want to go too? Knox looks at his sister. You know how thin we're running. If Nora has a boat, we should try. Hazel's jaw sets. Then I'm coming too. Knox shakes his head. No. The Villa District group is consolidated now. If they figure out our unit's empty, they'll storm it. You stay and hold the place. If they try to break in and loot, you'll know what to do. Hazel tenses. Then you stay. I'll go with Nora. Knox's brow tightens. Hazel, it's chaos out there. I'm stronger than you. You listening to me is the best protection all three of us get. Hazel's eyes go red. Nora hadn't expected Knox to volunteer either. She does need a partner. Like the highway run, without somewhere to hide, she couldn't have managed alone. But going out is dangerous. Nora hedges. Knox, maybe you and Hazel should both stay. I'm guessing very few people will be brave enough to leave their units right now, so it shouldn't be that risky. Knox looks at her. I'm not coming to babysit you. I'm coming to scavenge with you. Nora reconsiders. They're helping each other. Fine. Before dawn tomorrow. We meet here. For the rest of training that afternoon, Hazel mopes. She wants to download every skill she has into Nora's head right now. Hazel grew up in a sports family. Because she's a woman, her parents made her learn self-defense and a few grappling tricks. Now she teaches them all to Nora. After a full day of drills, Nora feels the work paying off. But her muscles ache. Even sprawled on the sofa, everything throbs. She thinks for a moment, then pulls up the in-universe novel and finds the section where Travis Wynn enters the story. In a novel running 1,000,000+ words, Travis shows up as a mid-arc character, a male side villain. He enters as a competitor to the male lead, but Slade eventually wins him over. After that, Travis runs Slade's dirty work. The novel doesn't say what Travis did before, just that he was wire-thin, vicious, and lived rough for a long time. He always read as filthy, a gutter creature. His personality shifts when he joins Slade, but there's another change. In the book, Slade is surrounded by beautiful women. Travis never bothers with them, doesn't even glance twice. Today's Travis didn't behave like that. Nora speaks. System, did I get the wrong guy? The system answers. No, host. That's him. So something must have happened early, something that changed him. Nora thinks for a moment. Travis is Slade's right hand. If I stop the two of them from ever meeting, does that count as cutting off Slade's luck supply? The system. Absolutely. But how do you plan to keep them apart? Nora blinks. Beat Travis up? A long silence. Then the system speaks. Host. Travis is a side male lead in this book. He has his own fate weight. Given your current build, you'd likely take the hit instead of dealing it. Nora clicks her tongue. Luck stats are really just the universe doing favors. In other words, even if she sent Knox, a world champion marksman, next door right now to take Slade out, the firearm would jam first. Forget about missing. Nora remembers she has to be up early. She closes the novel. Fine. We watch and wait. The system cuts in. Host. Movement at Slade's place. Nora frowns. She pulls a durian out of the vault, washes some grapes and cherries, grabs sunflower seeds and a bottle of water. What's happening to him? The system? Someone's prying at his door. Oh. Nora's mood lifts. She pops a cherry into her mouth and reaches for a fragrant slice of durian. Are they getting in? The system monitors from the windbreak shielding Slade's apartment. Tough. The male lead reinforced that door, which we have to thank our host for. If you hadn't helped him show off his wealth, this crowd wouldn't have come knocking so early. Their odds aren't great, Nora answers. Ants can take down an elephant, and even if Slade turns his unit into a fortress, what then? He's got to leave eventually to find a boat. Or is he planning to ride this out as a turtle in its shell? The system brightens. Exactly. He's already drawn a lot of attention. Going out now will be brutal for him. Host. You really are smarter than the average operator. Nora. Less flattery, more rewards. The system huffs. Can't. Last time I prepaid your bonus, the parent system chewed me out. From now on, I need actual results before I unlock anything. Nora narrows her eyes. Really? The system rushes. Of course. You're my sugar mama. You're my master. I'm your fairy. Nora can't help laughing. Fine. Are they still working the door? Still working it. Slade noticed. He's standing behind the door with a glass of red wine. Watching. Nora thinks, true to form. Even with no audience, the male lead has to pose. She keeps eating. She and the system watch for a while. Nothing else seems likely to happen. Nora showers and sleeps. Next morning, she brings the inflatable boat and a stack of gear out to the corridor. Knox and Hazel are already waiting. Seeing Nora's load, Knox steps forward and takes the boat without being asked. He's also wearing a backpack and carrying something long across his back. It's wrapped in cloth. She can't tell what's inside. Hazel is still upset, worried about the two of them leaving. Be careful out there. If anything goes wrong, fall back. Nora smiles. We're just scouting. Relax. Hazel turns to her brother. Take care of yourself. Take care of Nora. Forget the supplies. We can ride it out the way we always have. Knox. I hear you. He turns to Nora, then to Hazel again with urgency. You stay home. Stay careful. Don't make exceptions out of pity. Even if it's an old man or a child begging at the door, don't open it. Especially not for food. Understood? Hazel pulls in a hard breath. Brother, I get it. Nora turns to the stairwell, unlocks the chain. The two of them slip out in silence. Hazel bites her lip and closes both doors carefully behind them, then locks the chain back into place. Knox reaches through to test it. Once he's satisfied she did it right, he says one more thing. No matter what happens out here, do not leave the unit. Hazel nods. Mission understood. Nora can see the worry running between the two of them. She steps in. We move fast. We come back fast. Knox nods. Yesterday the committee found housing, so the corridors and stairwell are deserted now. Just trash. Lots of trash. Past 4 a.m. The stairwell is so dark she can't see her own hand. They feel their way down. By the 3rd and 4th floor landing, water has risen to here. Floor 4 is also abandoned. Nora speaks. We go out through this window. The boat won't fit through the window once it's inflated. Knox passes the boat and the gear on his back to Nora, climbs through the window, and drops into the water. He takes the boat back from her, unfolds it, and sets it on the surface. The lobby plus the first floor of this building sit at 13.5 feet of vertical clearance. Each floor above is just over 10 feet. Floor 3 is now underwater, which means the water is close to 36 feet deep. That's a terrifying depth. Nora makes Knox grip the window frame in case anything goes wrong, then she goes to work on the boat pump. 20 minutes of pumping in near silence. The night is quiet, just the rain over their breathing. Floor 4's tenants are gone. The rain covers the rest. Finally, the boat firms up. Knox climbs in, then turns. "Should I come get you?" She sees how soaked he is. A flush rises. She'd packed a waterproof men's jacket. Forgot to pull it out. She keeps her voice low. "Don't bother. I'm fine. Knox, hand me your pack. I'll catch it." She'd dropped everything on the stairwell while pumping. She passes Knox, his pack, then her own. Then she turns and picks up the long cloth-wrapped object. She hadn't thought much about it before, but carrying it one-handed now, something feels off. This shape. If she had to guess, there's only one thing it could be. That shape. No wonder the night the power cut, he didn't go for food first. He left on his bike for somewhere else. He went to get this. She passes the staff to Knox. His face stays neutral. Nora climbs through the window and into the boat. Knox shoulders his pack and the staff again picks up the paddle. "Close the window, we move." Nora, 5 in the morning. Sky still pitch black. No stars, no moon. Just the soft tap of rain. Nora pulls a glass jar out of her pack and shields a candle inside it. The flame is thin in the storm, barely aglow. Lucky for them, Knox knows this area. They don't take a wrong turn. Once the boat slips out of the complex, Knox looks at her. Got somewhere in mind? By now her read on him has sharpened. Yes, it's a bit of a distance. I know how to get there. Knox doesn't push. He paddles by her directions. The sky lifts to gray. Nora blows out the candle. By now they're well clear of the complex. Someone in a high-rise spots them and shouts, "Down there! Rescue boat? Is that a rescue boat?" Nora and Knox glance at each other. They don't answer. The shout pulls more faces to more windows. Once they see it's a single small boat, the eyes go dull with disappointment. Whose boat is that? They don't even have rescue gear. Going out scavenging. Lucky bastards. If I had a boat, my mother's heart meds are running out. What do I do now? A boat wouldn't save you. Where would you get meds? There's a kid on the floor below us. Fever of 106. Already too weak to cry. Every gaze tracks the small boat below. Every face strained with hope. Nora doesn't see it. Doesn't hear it. But she knows people don't just sit and die. Given any chance, they'll build something to float. Kid's bathtub, plastic tub, anything. And throw themselves into the water to scrounge. The boat presses forward. The high-rises thin out as they go. The land rises here. Paddling gets harder. The boat fights upstream foot by foot. Around 8 they reach the convention center. The center was completed just last year. It's in a quiet stretch, not far from a nature preserve. The grounds are still untouched. The complex has 4 buildings, a 16-floor office tower, and 3 exhibition halls. The main hall is 3 stories. Each floor varies in height. Floor 1 is 17 feet. Floor 2 and 3 each just under 14 feet. Nora is thrilled. Because she's arrived 1 full day ahead of the male lead, the 3rd floor of the main hall is still above water. Knox is surprised by the destination. "What are we looking for?" Nora answers. "There was a disaster preparedness expo here recently. I want to see what's still useful." "Probably plenty," Knox says. "Let's get inside." Nora shakes her head. "Time matters. Let me take the exhibition hall. You take the office tower. See if you can find food." Knox frowns. "Safe to split up?" Nora. "Trust me, there's nobody here." Knox thinks about it, then chooses to trust his partner. "Fine, but if either of us hits trouble, shout. Get help." Nora. "Done." The hall isn't fully flooded. They park the boat near the 3rd floor. Knox checks the room through the window first. Once it's confirmed empty, he takes a hammer from his pack and slams the glass. Crash. The window splits. He clears the shards from the frame, wipes rain off his face, turns back. It's open. Nora smiles. Thanks. Whether we find anything or not, 3 hours, we meet back here. Knox. Got it. Nora climbs into the exhibition hall. The water's only ankle deep up here. She wades in to scout, keeping one eye on where Knox is headed. Once she sees him paddle off toward the office tower, she allows herself a quiet smile and finds a hidden spot to change into her dive suit. The escape pod is still waiting for her on floor 1. And the question of whether floodwater can break it. Please. The thing is rated for a tsunami. A little flood won't touch it. Nora pulls on the dive suit, almost giddy, and looks for the stairwell. That's when she discovers the 3rd floor is the real treasure room. When the male lead reached this place, this floor was already underwater. So in the novel, he never knew what was up here. Now she sees it. Survival gear every kind. Life vests in every size. Dive suits. Fire-resistant suits. Acid and base-proof hazmat coveralls. Even radiation suits. Plus safety goggles. Gloves. Hard hats. Gas masks. Helmets. And 1,000 smaller things. This morning before leaving, she'd cleared 300 cubic meters of vault space. None of this will take much room. Of course she's grabbing it all. She moves to take a step and freezes. She sees body armor. Nora doesn't hesitate. She tucks 5 sets of body armor into the vault, smiling at her own luck. If she hadn't come here first, all of it would have soaked underwater. A waste. Then she sees a pair of night vision binoculars. She knows what they are because they're displayed in a glass case and radiate expensive. Good gear like that goes straight in. Beside them, more night vision binoculars and spotting scopes. She opens the case, all of it into the vault. Then she walks into a manufacturer's booth and sees a mannequin in heavy black tactical armor. The display copy claims it's bullet-resistant, stab-resistant, acid-proof, and fire-resistant. But it looks heavy, the kind of heavy that might collapse her shoulders. If it's that heavy, it has to be expensive, right? Something like this can't be left soaking in floodwater. The other 10 suits in the booth. She takes them too. The store also has a wide range of tactical packs. They look higher quality than the outdoor shop versions. Nora takes the lot. And a disaster preparedness expo has to have other rescue equipment. One company has a whole booth of unmanned smart vessels, surface rescue robots, unmanned patrol boats, survey drone boats. Those are above her pay grade. Nora sheds a regretful tear and takes only the practical stuff, assault rafts and the simpler watercraft. Then she sees a robot dog. She isn't sure how useful it is. Bigger problem, nobody she knows can repair it. But in the apocalypse, something like this could earn its keep. Send it ahead to scout for danger. Vault space is running tight. She decides to just take the escape pod and leave the dog. By now she's reached the stairwell. Past this point is the underwater world. Nora pulls out her tank, vest, mask, and fins, and gears up. She loves to travel. She's logged plenty of dives in plenty of places. This depth isn't a problem. She tightens her grip on the underwater scooter and starts descending. She doesn't stop at floor 2. Drops straight to floor 1. Light objects have floated up against the ceiling. Looking up, the world is just black silhouettes. Disquieting. The hall is enormous. Nora navigates the way the novel described, heading due north. Every kind of supply lines the way. Large equipment everywhere. Rescue trucks. Engineering vehicles. Amphibious ATVs that can run on land and water. A helicopter. She pauses at the small rescue helicopter, then keeps moving toward the escape pod. About 10 minutes later, she finds the giant sphere on the ground. Nora's grin widens. She accelerates toward the escape pod and lays both hands on the hull. The pod vanishes into the vault. The system chimes. Congratulations, host. Escape pod acquired. Given the unique nature of the item, And the fact that you've helped Slade cross the line between life and death multiple times. You're owed a major reward. 5 rewards total. You may select 4 of the 5. 4 out of 5. Not bad. Nora smiles. Tell me the 5. The system. Item 1. Vault space expanded to 1,000 cubic meters. Item 2. Fridge restock rate boosted to 3 times original. Item 3. Constitution plus 5. Item 4. Strength plus 5. Item 5. Speed plus 5. Nora thinks. Vault space is the most urgent. The fridge already restocks at twice its original rate after the last bonus. Today she's loading more gear in. At this pace, she'll run out of room. She doesn't need to explain the perks of a 3x restock. Having food fall from the sky while she sits at home is its own reward. But compared to the restock boost, the body upgrades are tempting right now. Nora decides. Skip item 2. I'll take the other 4. The system confirms. Host. You've chosen Vault Expansion, plus 5 to Constitution, Strength, and Speed. Confirm, Nora. Confirm. Hurry up. The system pings. Rewards delivered. Please verify. Nora's eyes brighten. The most obvious change first. The vault doubled, with huge empty stretches in a blink. She doesn't feel her body change, but when she pushes off to swim, her body is lighter, faster. What level is my strength now? Nora asks the system. Above an average adult male, comparable to someone who trains regularly year-round. Slightly under a professional athlete. Nora smiles. Plenty. She swims back to the helicopter. She doesn't know if it will ever fly again. But who cares? Her vault is bigger now. Take it. Take it. Then there's a fleet of next-gen rescue vehicles. Transport equipment with the latest smart systems, plus large-scale rescue drones and unmanned boats meant for mass search and rescue. The Hall has an integrated emergency response platform, networked, capable of issuing early warnings across systems. This place is a showcase of humanity's most advanced disaster response, built by the work of countless minds, and one solar superstorm reset everything to 0. Nora sighs and heads back up to floor 3. Plenty of room now? She doesn't need to be picky. 3 robot dogs into the vault, then safety harnesses, emergency rescue kits, and stacks of fire extinguishers and hard hats. She rushed her first sweep of floor 3. Time to do it right. The remaining gear is rare. Nora decides to clear the floor completely. Doesn't even check what each piece is. Whatever it is, straight into the vault. Nothing wasted. Floor 3 doesn't have nearly as much as floor 1 or 2. But everything below is drowned. About 40 minutes in, she feels the sweep is done. She pulls one inflatable boat out of the vault, pumps it up, climbs in, then loads it. 2 uninflated rafts, more than 20 waterproof rescue suits, 20+ acid-proof coveralls, and other small gear. Ready. Nora paddles fast toward the office tower. The office tower is shorter than the hall. It's flooded to floor 4. She finds the window knocks broke, ties the boat off, climbs through. Knocks. She climbs higher, calling. By floor 8, she gets an answer. Knox walks out of an office with a large striped weave bag. She has no idea where he found it. It looks comical on him. He's drenched, soaked to the bone. Nora bites back a laugh. She passes him a rescue worker's waterproof suit. Found this on the other side. Want to swap? Knox grunts in agreement, sets the bag down, and inspects the suit. Is it worn over clothes? Nora has no idea. She thinks for a second. Check it yourself? Knox considers it for 2 seconds, then says nothing and carries the suit into an office. Once the door is closed, Nora kneels and looks inside the bag. Office snacks. Tea, coffee, toilet paper, sanitary pads, 2 unopened packs of pads, 1 half used, 3 packs total. Knox emerges, changed. Nora says, 8 floors still uncovered. Let's split. I'll start from the top. Knox looks a little off.